The second part of any cash offer to consider is the money. This is what most homeowners tend to consider the most. And honestly, I don't blame them. But there are three aspects to the money that need to be evaluated. The first is earnest money. The earnest money deposit, or EMD, is a good faith deposit given to the buyer to the seller that is held in escrow. It is an amount of money that tells the seller that someone is a serious buyer. The actual amount can vary, but it is a game changer for you when you understand it correctly. Earnest money should be used to gauge how serious the potential buyer is. The most important detail to consider is how much non-refundable earnest money is the buyer willing to put down, and when does it become non-refundable. For you, the seller, the sooner the better. The higher the non-refundable earnest money, the more serious the buyer. You want the buyer to have some skin in the game. Earnest money is that skin. The second aspect to consider is what I call net. In my experience, homeowners want to know one thing: how much money am I gonna walk away with when the house is sold? In order to figure this out, the formula is simple. Offer price minus debt equals net. It's important to point out that debt on the property can include mortgages, judgments, taxes, or liens, but aside from these, there shouldn't be any other fees associated with selling your property to a credible cash buyer. Never accept an offer until you are clear on these basic numbers. Selling directly to a cash buyer means no realtor commissions, fees, closing costs, inspection fees, or appraisal fees. Remember, net stands for no extra things. The last part of the money relates to the price. The financial aspect of selling a home is pretty straightforward. It's simply the number you are willing to sell the property for. But there is another aspect of price that is often overlooked: the emotional price, or cost. I like to think of it as balancing scales. On one side of the scale, you have the monetary price. On the other side of the scale is the emotional price. The emotional price is very real and should be seriously considered when determining if a cash offer is right for you. One of the biggest advantages of working with a credible cash buyer is that they can provide a certainty that a wholesaler or real estate agent can't. Only you, the seller, knows the emotional price tag that certainty, convenience, ease, and peace of mind can provide. Take the example of Julia. In the midst of mourning her father-in-law's passing and sorting through a lifetime of personal belongings, she experienced the emotional cost of the transaction falling apart days before closing. While money is definitely an important consideration, money isn't everything. Consider the emotional price of your sale and what's most important to you. For some, the emotional price tag is worth more than it is to others. Find the balance and do what's best for your situation.